September 20th is a 999 activation portal. Watch what happens when you say this. On September 20th, the heavens open a gateway unlike any other, a sacred alignment known as the 999 activation portal, a moment where cycles end and new destinies are born. This is not just another day on the calendar, it is a spiritual threshold, a doorway where endings meet beginnings, where the old collapses so the new can emerge in fullness. In this hour, the words you speak carry unusual power. They are not merely sounds, but decrees etched into the unseen fabric of reality. When you open your mouth and declare with conviction, the universe bends, rearranges, and aligns to bring forth the substance of your utterance. The vibration of 999 is completion, fulfillment, and rebirth, and when joined with the sacred command of the spoken word, it becomes a force unstoppable, a key unlocking treasures long held for you. What you dare to say in faith on this day will echo into eternity, for this portal recognizes only certainty, only imagination made flesh, only belief clothed in words of fire. The power of the spoken word on the 999 portal. There is a mystery hidden within the breath of life, a secret that has been whispered through the ages, but only grasped by those who dare to awaken. Your word is power, your word is law, your word is creation itself. The universe was spoken into being. Light was called forth by declaration, and the unseen took shape because of a command. On September 20th, as the 999 activation portal opens, this principle shines brighter than ever before. For on this sacred day, the spoken word vibrates not only through the air, but through the eternal fabric of reality itself, sealing endings and summoning beginnings in the same breath. To understand the depth of this truth is to recognize that every phrase you utter is a decree written upon the invisible scroll of life, and as you speak, so it becomes. There is no idle word, even silence hums with energy, but words ignite the very currents of destiny. The tongue is not a small instrument, it is a rudder steering the ship of your soul, and on the day of this cosmic alignment, its direction carries infinite weight. When you open your mouth to declare on the 999 portal, you are not simply talking, you are impressing the unseen with your vision. Think of your words as divine seeds. The soil of the unseen is already prepared, rich and waiting, but the harvest depends on what you sow with your lips. Words clothed in fear bring forth weeds and thorns, but words wrapped in faith and conviction yield gardens of abundance, healing, love, and freedom. To speak is to choose, and to choose is to create. Yet most drift through life speaking carelessly, allowing complaints, doubts, and fears to drip from their mouths without realizing they are signing contracts with unseen forces. But those who awaken, those who understand the potency of the spoken word, become deliberate, intentional, and conscious in their decrees. They do not speak what is but what shall be, and in doing so, they pull the invisible into visibility. This is the essence of the 999 portal. It multiplies the effect of your declaration, amplifying the echo of your words into realms beyond comprehension. Consider for a moment how a simple I am reshapes everything. The moment you say, I am healed, though your body may feel pain, you are not describing yourself. You are commanding the reality to align. When you say, I am wealthy, though your bank account may look barren, you are not confessing lack. You are planting the seed of abundance into the eternal ground of being. Every I am statement on this day is magnified, for 999 is the vibration of divine order, endings giving way to beginnings, the cycle closing so that a new one may be written. When you speak I am into this portal, you are invoking the eternal name of power, the very essence of creation, and all of existence bows to fulfill it. The world outside may still reflect the old, but in the unseen, the new is already formed, and it begins its journey toward visibility the very moment you decree it. It is not enough to merely think. Thought is the spark, but the word is the fire. Thought alone is like water contained, but when spoken, it flows into rivers that reshape the land. That is why silence in the face of your desire is not enough. You must clothe your vision in words. You must give sound to your unseen reality. Sound carries vibration, and vibration molds substance. On this 999 day, when the energies of completion and renewal collide, your spoken words strike like thunder into the heavens, and creation itself responds. The invisible realm does not resist you. It waits on you. It listens for the voice of its master, and your word is the command. Yet here lies the test. Will you speak from fear or from faith? Will you speak from the residue of your past or from the vision of your future? The 999 portal does not discriminate, it only amplifies. If you choose to voice limitation, then limitation multiplies. If you choose to decree freedom, then freedom flourishes. This is why mastery over the tongue is mastery over destiny. You cannot afford to be casual with words, for on this day the vibration of each utterance ripples into realms that return with multiplied force. The wise do not complain, the awakened do not curse their own lives, the conscious do not say I cannot when the portal is open. Instead, they stand in the authority of I am, declaring boldly what they choose to experience, knowing the unseen bends to their decree. There is also a rhythm to the word. Repetition engraves deeper than a single utterance. On September 20th, allow your declarations to be steady, like a heartbeat that cannot be ignored. Whisper them, shout them, sing them, but do not let them pass your lips without faith. Imagine the word as a key turning a lock. The more you repeat, the deeper it engraves into the unseen until the door bursts open. I am whole, I am favored, I am abundant, I am love. These are not idle phrases, they are commands, and when spoken into the 999 alignment, they become eternal echoes that will not return void. Understand, too, that the spoken word is not only for your own life, it shapes the collective. What you decree does not stop at your skin, it flows outward, influencing those around you, touching your environment, reshaping your atmosphere. On this day, when the portal magnifies completion, you can speak release over your past, breaking chains and dissolving cycles not only for yourself but for generations. You can say, the struggle ends here, and the vibration of that decree reverberates backward and forward through time, sealing the ending of old patterns and ushering in new blessings. This is the hidden power given to you not to beg, not to wish, but to declare and command. The greatest error humanity makes is believing that words are empty. They believe circumstances hold the power, that situations define destiny, when in truth, words are the architects of experience. The body heals because of word, the mind is renewed by word, wealth flows by word, doors open by word, and peace settles by word. All creation is responsive, not resistant, and it responds to the sound that carries conviction. On September 20th, when the 999 alignment calls the unseen into focus, your declarations are like arrows of light, piercing through the veil, creating pathways where none existed before. So on this day, guard your lips as you would guard treasure, for they hold the wealth of your destiny. Do not let casual speech undo your intention. Speak deliberately, speak with certainty, speak as though the thing you desire is already here, for it is. The word does not wait for the world to catch up. The word commands the world to shift. Remember this, the 999 portal magnifies your authority, and when you speak in alignment with your desire, the universe reorganizes itself around your decree. Say it, believe it, embody it, and watch as reality bends to fulfill your command, for the spoken word is not just sound, it is the power of creation, the law of manifestation, and on September 20th it becomes the very breath of destiny. 999, as a portal of completion, there comes a moment in life when the old must give way to the new, when cycles that have carried you as far as they could must close, and when endings are no longer tragedies but doorways. The 999 activation portal of September 20th embodies this divine rhythm. It is the signature of completion, the final seal upon all that no longer serves you, and the grand opening into what has been waiting in the wings of eternity. To understand the mystery of 999 is to understand that life is not chaos but design, not random but ordered, and that every season has a beginning, a middle, and an appointed end. Just as the seed must die for the tree to emerge, and just as the sunset makes room for the dawn, so too does 999 symbolize the sacred closure of cycles, so that a higher octave of existence may unfold. It is not a number of loss, as many fear, but a number of fulfillment. It is the exhale before the next inhale, the completion of one song so that another may begin. On September 20th, this frequency floods the earth, and those who are awake will sense it deeply. A shift in the unseen, a release in the soul, a quiet whisper that says, "It is finished, now step forward." Completion is often resisted because humanity clings to the familiar. Known, even when painful, feels safer than the unknown, yet the 999 vibration refuses to allow stagnation. It will dismantle what is false, it will close doors that lead nowhere, and it will remove attachments that no longer carry life. This is why so many feel sudden endings around these portals. Days relationships dissolve, jobs shift, old habits fall away, not because life is cruel, but because life is merciful, refusing to let you linger in what cannot serve your destiny. Completion is not punishment, it is promotion. It is the universe saying, you have graduated from this chapter, and it is time for the next. But to benefit from the 999 portal, you must not resist. You must let go willingly, trusting that the cycle closing is the very bridge to the blessing you have prayed for. Think of a book. You cannot begin the next chapter if you remain clinging to the last page. The story cannot progress if you refuse to allow an ending. Similarly, the 999 activation demands that you release your grip on what has already served its purpose. On September 20th, the energies of completion will surface in your life in unmistakable ways. You may feel a sudden desire to declutter, clean your environment, to cut ties with things or people that no longer align. You may sense an inner knowing that certain seasons are done, even if no words are spoken. This is the hand of 999 at work, gently but firmly moving you out of expired cycles so you can step into greater alignment. Ignore these nudges is to prolong struggle, but to embrace them is to unlock destiny. Completion is also about reconciliation. 999 does not only end things outwardly, it brings closure inwardly. Old wounds may rise to the surface, memories long buried may suddenly resurface, unresolved emotions may seek your attention. This is not regression, it is healing. The 999 portal wants you to tie up loose ends, to forgive where forgiveness has been withheld, to release bitterness, to close emotional contracts that keep you bound to the past. Imagine carrying luggage from every season of your life in the present. You cannot walk into the new burdened by what was. The portal offers you release. When you forgive, you are not condoning, you are completing. When you let go, you are not losing, you are graduating. This is the hidden gift of 999. It frees you from cycles that repeat, allowing you to step into cycles that elevate. There is also a cosmic precision to 999. It does not close things randomly, it closes them in divine order. What ends on this day was already complete in the unseen. You may have thought the relationship had more time, or the job still had potential, or the habit was harmless, but the unseen knew its cycle was finished. Trust that endings under this frequency are sacred, even if painful. They are not accidents, they are alignments. The divine order of 999 ensures that nothing is removed unless something greater is waiting. It is like pruning a tree not to harm it, but to allow it to grow fuller, stronger, and more fruitful. 999 also symbolizes service and soul mission. When you step into completion, you are being prepared for higher purpose. The closing of cycles is not just personal, it is collective. Your growth ripples into the whole, your release clears pathways not only for yourself but for others. On September 20th, when you align with this portal, ask yourself, what is ending in me? What is closing around me? What season is now complete? Do not resist the answers, for in them lies your elevation. Completion is the graduation ceremony of the soul, a recognition that you are ready to step into greater assignments, greater abundance, greater love. It is vital to understand that 999 is not about destruction, it is about fulfillment. Just as a fruit falls from the tree when it is ripe, so too does the cycle of your life reach its natural harvest. On this day, endings are not empty, they are full of promise. You may walk away from something, but you walk towards something greater. You may release someone, but you open the space for new connections divinely aligned. You may close a chapter, but the next one is already written, waiting for you to turn the page. Completion is not the end, it is the bridge. On a practical level, the 999 portal invites you to speak closure into existence. Just as your word carries power, your word seals endings. Say aloud, this season is complete. I release it with gratitude. I step into the new with faith. Declare closure, bless what has ended, and invite what is beginning. Do not cling to what is done, honor it, thank it, and let it go. For the 999 vibration will not allow you to carry dead weight into new beginnings. It insists that you travel light, unburdened, free, and ready for what comes next. Imagine standing at a doorway, 1 foot inside the old room and 1 foot stepping into the new. The portal of 999 is that threshold. It will not allow you to stand in between forever. You must choose. You must decide to walk forward, and when you do, the door behind you closes, not as a punishment, but as a mercy, for you were never meant to live in 2 places at once. The completion frees you from the divided heart, the double mind, the split focus. It unifies you, aligns you, and propels you into your destined path. So as September 20th arrives, do not fear the endings, do not mourn what leaves, do not resist what closes. Instead, celebrate it. Recognize that you are in rhythm with the eternal cycle of life. Trust that 999 is the universe declaring, "Well done. This chapter is fulfilled. Now step into the new, for every ending is a beginning in disguise, every closure is a doorway to expansion, and every completion is the evidence that you are moving forward." 999 is not loss, it is life's greatest gift, the chance to begin again, higher, wiser, stronger, freer. Imagination creates reality. Imagination is not fantasy, nor is it mere daydreaming. It is the womb of creation, the secret workshop where the unseen becomes seen, the invisible becomes tangible, and the impossible becomes inevitable. The 999 activation portal of September 20th amplifies this power, for when cycles close and new doors open, it is imagination that determines what unfolds next. Life is not shaped by accidents or by chance, but by the images you dare to hold within and sustain until they become flesh. The unseen does not resist you, it waits for you. Imagination is the command center of destiny, and on this sacred day, its creative force is heightened, drawing realities to you at accelerated speed. What you imagine, you become. What you hold, you embody. What you see in the inner chamber of the mind is what you will meet in the outer corridors of life. Most people live reactively, shaping their imagination by what they see in the outer world, never realizing that the outer world is only a reflection of their inner state. They see lack and imagine more lack. They experience rejection and imagine more rejection. They encounter fear and imagine more fear, and then they wonder why cycles repeat. But those who awaken realize that imagination is not a mirror but a projector. It does not simply reflect reality, it creates it. The images you hold are not passive. They are active seeds planted in the soil of eternity. To imagine is to rehearse creation, to plant before you reap, sculpt before the stone takes form. And on September 20th, when the 999 portal demands endings and new beginnings, your imagination becomes the brush with which you paint your next chapter. If you can see it within, you will see it without. Imagination is not limited by what is. It is not confined by what was. It is the realm of what can be, and it moves beyond the barriers of time, circumstance, and logic. On this day, when the portal vibrates with completion, your imagination holds the authority to rewrite your narrative. Whatever you dare to see inwardly with conviction will push aside the remnants of the old cycle and establish the foundation of the new. Picture abundance even if you've known only scarcity. Envision health even if your body carries pain. See love even if your heart has been wounded. The portal multiplies the power of your inner vision, and if you hold it faithfully, the outer must eventually conform. Imagination is not wishful thinking, it is spiritual law. It precedes creation, sustains creation, and governs creation. Think of a sculptor. Before the marble is cut, he already sees the statue within it. The outer block may look rough, shapeless, and ordinary, but his imagination knows what lies beneath. Similarly, your outer world may appear rough and unformed, yet imagination sees beyond appearances into essence. To live without imagination is to live blind, confined only to what is visible. But to live by imagination is to live as a creator, shaping the invisible into the visible. And on this 999 activation day, the chisel of imagination is placed firmly in your hands. What will you carve? What image will you dare to hold? For what you hold will not remain within, it will manifest without. Imagination is not a weak force, it is the strongest. Wars are fought because of imagination, empires are built upon it, inventions are birthed by it, movements are fueled by it, and destinies are defined by it. Every advancement humanity has ever known was first a vision in someone's imagination. The airplane flew in the imagination of Wright brothers long before it touched the sky. Light illuminated the imagination of Edison before it filled the world. Kingdoms, revolutions, and renaissances began not with armies but with vision, and so too does your life pivot not by effort alone but by the vision you sustain. The 999 portal accelerates this law, for endings must give way to beginnings, and beginnings are born not of effort but of imagination. It is vital to understand that imagination creates reality not someday but now. The moment you imagine, you shift frequencies, and the unseen begins to respond. This is why you must guard your inner visions as carefully as your spoken words. Do not imagine failure, for failure will form. Do not imagine betrayal, for betrayal will manifest. Do not imagine fear, for fear will clothe itself. Instead, deliberately hold images of what you desire. Walk inwardly in the home you long for. Feel the abundance of the wealth you desire. Taste the joy of the relationship you seek. Do not postpone it to the future. Live it inwardly now. For the law of imagination does not respond to someday, it responds to certainty, and the 999 portal magnifies certainty into manifestation. Imagination also completes what is unfinished. Old cycles may have left wounds, disappointments, and scars, but imagination allows you to see beyond them into wholeness. The outer world may still echo with fragments of the old, but in imagination you can already stand in the completed new. This is how you break repetition, by seeing yourself beyond the cycle that has ended. If you do not change the inner vision, the outer pattern repeats, but if you dare to see yourself differently, the cycle cannot continue. On this portal day, the universe leans in to hear your imagination, to see what you will paint, to watch what you will dare to envision. The practice of imagination requires persistence. The world outside will tempt you to believe it is stronger, that appearances are more real than inner visions. But imagination is eternal, while appearances are temporary. Hold fast to what you see inwardly, no matter how loudly the outer world contradicts it. When you persist, reality bends. It cannot resist for long. The outer is clay, and the inner is the mold. The clay may not shift instantly, but with faith and persistence, it must eventually take the shape of the mold. This is why the portal is such a gift. It gives you permission to release the old mold and create a new one. To activate imagination fully on September 20th, enter into the scene of your desire as if it were already real. Feel it, breathe it, touch it in the inner chamber. If you seek abundance, see yourself already possessing it. If you seek healing, feel the wholeness now. If you long for reconciliation, imagine the embrace already complete. The more vivid you make it, the more real it becomes. The subconscious does not know the difference between inner and outer. It accepts what is impressed upon it. Imagination is the impression, reality is the expression. And on the 999 day, impressions are etched more deeply, carving new realities with speed and precision. Remember, too, that imagination is not limited to self, it creates collectively. As you imagine peace, peace radiates outward. As you imagine healing, it touches others. As you imagine abundance, the collective consciousness rises. Your inner vision is not isolated. It is a ripple that expands through the fabric of existence. On this sacred day of completion, your imagination does not only birth your next chapter, it helps write the collective chapter of humanity. To see light is to call forth light. To envision harmony is to summon harmony. To hold love is to release it into the field. So guard your imagination as you would guard treasure, for it is the womb of your future. Do not let old cycles, old wounds, or old appearances dictate what you dare to see. Choose deliberately, for the 999 portal amplifies what you imagine. If you imagine endings only, you will experience endings without renewal. But if you imagine beginnings clothed in glory, then endings become gateways and new life bursts forth. Imagination is not passive, it is the engine of destiny, and on September 20th, as the portal opens, it becomes your greatest power. Dare to see, dare to believe, dare to hold, and you will watch as what once lived only within blossoms before your eyes. For imagination is not illusion. It is the substance of creation, and what you sustain inwardly must eventually reveal itself outwardly. Alignment with divine order, there is an eternal rhythm moving through life, a hidden current that carries every event, every cycle, every unfolding toward a divine purpose. This rhythm is not chaos, it is order. It may appear at times as though life is unraveling, that endings come without reason, that doors shut without warning, yet when you step back and attune to the deeper truth, you find that everything is governed by divine law, that nothing is out of place, and that all things are working together toward completion. The 999 activation portal of September 20th is the ultimate symbol of this alignment with divine order. It is the number of endings that give way to beginnings, the seal of completion, the cosmic affirmation that your path is not random but perfectly guided. To align with this order is to rest in trust, to release the need to control every detail, and to recognize that life is wiser than fear, that spirit sees further than sight, and that every closure is a bridge to something greater. To align with divine order is to understand that there are no accidents, the job that ended, the relationship that dissolved, the habit that fell away, the chapter that closed. All of these are not punishments but invitations. Life in its wisdom saw that the cycle was finished and gently moved you forward. The 999 portal magnifies this truth, pulling endings into your experience, not to break you but to align you. You may not see it at first. The path may feel uncertain, the future unclear. Yet if you lean into trust, you will see that the very thing you resisted was the hand of divine order guiding you to higher ground. On September 20th, this portal asks you to stop fighting against the current and to surrender into it, knowing that the unseen is organizing everything for your good. Order does not always look like order. Sometimes it appears as chaos because endings are disruptive. You may feel the ground shaking, the familiar falling away, the old dismantling, but this is the pruning of life. A tree cut back looks bare, yet it is preparing to bear more fruit. Similarly, divine order removes what no longer serves so that what is destined can flourish. When you resist, you prolong suffering. When you align, you accelerate blessing. The 999 portal is your reminder to trust the pruning, to honor the closures, to bless the endings, for they are the fingerprints of divine order in your life. Alignment also means timing. Divine order operates in perfect timing, and 999 is the signal that a cycle has reached its appointed end. Nothing ends before its time, and nothing lingers past it. The very fact that something has ended is proof that its purpose has been fulfilled. This truth sets you free from regret. You do not need to mourn what has left or cling to what has passed, for its season is complete. September 20th marks that sacred timing. Assurance that you are exactly where you need to be, even if it feels uncomfortable. Divine order is not delayed, nor is it rushed. It is precise. To align with it is to release anxiety and to rest in the knowing that your life is unfolding perfectly. To live in alignment with divine order, you must also learn to see beyond appearances. The outer world may show endings that seem harsh, losses that seem cruel, but the inner knowing must rise above sight. Appearances are temporary, but divine order is eternal. Do not measure your life by what you see today. Measure it by the certainty that what ends is making way for what is greater. Trust is the bridge between the visible and the invisible. The 999 portal asks you to walk by faith, to know that the unseen order is working even when the visible looks chaotic. This is the posture of alignment, not fear, not doubt, but trust. Alignment with divine order is not passive, it requires cooperation. You must release what is closing instead of clinging. You must forgive what is ending instead of resenting. You must prepare for the new instead of mourning the old. The portal opens, but you must step through it. The door is there, but you must walk forward. To align is to act in faith, to bless the ending with gratitude, and to embrace the beginning with expectancy. Say within yourself, what is done, and what is coming is greater. This declaration pulls you into rhythm with the eternal order that governs all life. It is also important to recognize that divine order is not only personal, it is collective. The 999 vibration brings endings not only to individual cycles, but to collective ones. Old systems collapse, outdated patterns dissolve, structures that no longer serve humanity fall apart. This is not destruction. It is renewal. Just as in your personal life, collective endings make space for collective beginnings, The world may look unstable, but it is alignment on a larger scale. What is complete must end, and what is destined must rise. On September 20th, you participate in this larger alignment, adding your trust and your declaration to the collective rhythm. Alignment with divine order also requires surrender. This is the hardest part for many, for the human mind craves control. It wants to predict, to dictate, to plan, yet divine order cannot be controlled. It can only be trusted. To surrender is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the recognition that the unseen has greater sight than you do. You see the moment, but spirit sees the whole path. You know the present, but life knows the future. When you surrender, you are not giving up. You are rising up into alignment with a power greater than yourself. The 999 portal calls you to this surrender, inviting you to let go of control and step into trust. There is beauty in this alignment, for it frees you from fear. If divine order governs all things, then what need is there to worry? If every ending is appointed, then what need is there to mourn? If every beginning is assured, then what need is there to doubt? Trust becomes your anchor, and peace becomes your posture. On September 20th, when the portal opens, you can breathe deeply, knowing that life is not against you but for you, that the universe is not random but purposeful, and that you are carried by a current that will never fail you. So as the 999 activation portal unfolds, align yourself with divine order. Release the need to fight, to resist, to control. Trust the timing, trust the endings, trust the unseen. Bless what is closed, honor what hath passed, and embrace what is coming. Stand in the knowing that your life is unfolding exactly as it should, that nothing is lost, that everything is fulfilled. This is the power of alignment. It turns fear into faith, doubt into trust, endings into beginnings. For divine order is not just a principle, it is the very rhythm of life, and when you align with it, you move effortlessly into the destiny prepared for you. September 20th is your invitation to align fully, to release fully, to trust completely, and to walk boldly into the new chapter awaiting you. The command of I am, divine activation within you. There are words that pass through your lips without weight, and there are words that reverberate through eternity. Among all utterances, none holds greater power than the words I am. These two words are not mere descriptions of the self, they are the seed of creation itself, the living decree by which the invisible is made visible. To say I am is to call forth, to summon, to bring into being the unseen reality that waits to be clothed in form. Every time you speak those words, you are not simply identifying yourself, you are commanding life to organize itself around the truth you declare. The moment you say I am, you are standing in the place of creation itself, declaring from the throne of your own consciousness. This is why the ancients revered the name of I am as holy, eternal, unchangeable. It is the first cause, the source of all manifestation, the sacred key that unlocks the realms of possibility and translates them into experience. On a day such as September 20th, under the vibration of the 999 activation portal, these words take on even greater potency, for this is a portal of endings and beginnings, of completion and rebirth. To speak I am on this day is to seal the old cycle and inaugurate the new. It is to declare with authority that you are no longer bound by the patterns of yesterday, but reborn into the reality of your chosen word today. Consider how many times you have carelessly spoken these words. I am tired, I am broke, I am unlucky. Each statement, though casually spoken, becomes law unto you. The world you now see is not accidental. It is the accumulation of countless I am statements etched upon the canvas of your subconscious mind. Yet here lies the truth. What was spoken yesterday can be overturned today. What was decreed in ignorance can be undone by awareness. You are not condemned by the past I am, for this portal offers you the gift of renewal. By choosing your declarations consciously, you step into your rightful role as creator. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are the author of them. The question is not whether the power of I am works. The only question is what you have chosen to attach to it. When you say, I am abundant, you are not merely wishing for abundance. You are claiming it, embodying it, decreeing it into existence. The unseen dimension responds immediately to your declaration, for it does not know the difference between imagination and reality. It only knows what has been impressed upon it. Your word, fused with belief, is the command that bends reality to conform. This is why it has been said, "Let the weak say, I am strong." Notice, it does not say to wait until you feel strong or until you see evidence of strength. It says to declare it, to speak it into being. The declaration precedes the evidence, and the evidence conforms to the declaration. This is the law of life, immutable and eternal. The word you speak is not idle, it is creative. On September 20th, the vibration of the 999 portal amplifies the command of I am. This is a cosmic seal, a spiritual signature that brings endings to all that no longer serves and opens the gate to the new order of your life. When you say, I am free, the chains of limitation break. When you say, I am healed, the wholeness within you springs forth. When you say, I am favored, the universe conspires to move people, opportunities, and resources into your path. Do not underestimate the power of this day. It is as though the heavens lean closer, listening with heightened sensitivity to the words you choose to utter. Every declaration becomes an order stamped with completion, echoing with finality, and carrying the weight of divine authority. The danger lies in speaking unconsciously, for the same law that brings blessings will also bind you if misused. Words of fear, doubt, and defeat carry as much power as words of faith, victory, and abundance. The universe is impartial. It mirrors what you give it. If you say, I am nothing, life will make you nothing. If you say, I am forgotten, you will experience neglect. But if you rise with awareness and declare, I am chosen, I am guided, I am destined for greatness, then the very fabric of existence bends to make it so. What you attach to I am is the most sacred choice you will ever make, for it is the choice of creation itself. The portal of 999 is also a reminder that I am does not merely describe who you are now. It shapes who you are becoming. It is the bridge between present and future, between the visible and the invisible. Speak not from the posture of lack, but from the consciousness of fulfillment. Even if your outer world contradicts your declaration, persist. Say, I am abundant. Even if your pockets are empty, say, I am loved. Even if you sit alone, say, I am healed. Even if the pain lingers, for what you affirm today with I am becomes the experience of tomorrow. The portal seals your words and sets them into motion. The old cycle closes, and the new begins the moment you dare to declare. This sacred power cannot be delegated. No one can say, I am, for you. Others may pray for you, bless you, or encourage you, but the creative command of I am must come from your own lips. It is your divine inheritance, your authority, your throne. To neglect it is to hand over your power to chance. To claim it is to step into mastery. On September 20th, as the 999 portal opens, let no idle word fall from your mouth. Guard your tongue as you would guard treasure, for on this day it becomes the pen that writes your destiny. Speak only what you desire, only what you choose to live, only what reflects the highest vision of yourself. So I ask you now, what will you declare? Will you continue to echo the limitations of yesterday, or will you step boldly into the new by saying, I am more than enough? I am aligned with divine purpose. I am the embodiment of abundance, joy, peace, and strength. Remember, you are not waiting for life to crown you. You crown yourself with the words you speak. You are not begging for blessings. You command them into form with the sacred decree of I am. And when you dare to speak it with unwavering faith, heaven and earth unite to confirm it. This September 20th, as the 999 activation portal blazes open, let your I am resound with power. Let it close the doors that must be shut and fling open the gates of your next season. Let it erase the record of defeat and inscribe the promise of victory. Let it call forth health, love, prosperity, wisdom, and guidance. Do not whisper it timidly. Declare it boldly, for you are not hoping for change. You are commanding creation. The law cannot fail, and your word cannot return void. The only limit is what you dare to attach to I am. Speak it, believe it, embody it, and watch the entire universe rearrange itself to bear witness to your decree. For on this day the portal listens, creation responds, and your I am becomes the law of your life. The silence that manifests the secret behind your words. There is a mystery deeper than words, a truth hidden behind every I am that leaves your lips, and that mystery is the silence from which those words arise. Before you speak there is thought, before thought there is imagination, before imagination there is silence, the still awareness that is the womb of all creation. It is in this silence that the seeds of destiny are conceived, and it is from this silence that the spoken word takes its power. Words not rooted in inner stillness are empty sounds, but words emerging from the fertile silence of belief are unstoppable decrees. The portal of September 20th, the 999th activation, does not simply magnify idle talk, it magnifies words rooted in the depth of your being. To prepare for such a day, you must not only sharpen your declarations, but also cultivate the silence that makes them living words. For silence is not absence, it is presence, the eternal ground of being, the divine canvas upon which imagination paints. When you dwell in this silence, your words no longer come from fear or desperation, but from certainty, from a knowing that transcends the evidence of the senses. This is why when you say, "I am free," and mean it from silence, chains break. When you say, "I am abundant," and speak it from the inner stillness of already possessing, wealth begins to flow. The silence impregnates your words with creative force, making them more than affirmations. They become laws that reality must obey, yet so many lie disconnected from this silence. They speak hurriedly, anxiously, filling the air with words that carry no power because they spring from a restless mind. They pray with lips but not with conviction, they declare without believing, they affirm without embodying. Such words return void, not because the law is weak, but because silence was absent. On this portal day, the call is not only to speak, but also to be still, to enter into that inner sanctuary where the word and the silence become one. For in silence you no longer beg for change, you embody it, you no longer ask, you assume, you no longer hope, you know. This is the secret behind every manifestation, the marriage of silence and speech, the union of being and declaring. When silence births the word, the universe bows in obedience. This is why those who have discovered the secret do not need to shout, for their whisper shakes worlds. They do not need to repeat endlessly, for their single declaration, rooted in silence, reverberates through eternity. The power lies not in the volume of your words, but in the stillness from which they rise. On September 20th, as the 999 portal opens, practice first the art of stillness. Withdraw from the noise of world, silence the inner chatter, and rest in the awareness of being. From there, when you declare "I am," it will not be a weak wish, it will be a thunderclap in the invisible, a decree that no resistance can overturn. The silence will infuse your words with authority, and the portal will magnify their effect. Know this truth: silence is not empty. It is full. Silence is not nothing. It is everything. To dwell in silence is to align with the eternal, and to speak from silence is to command creation itself. On this sacred day, do not merely speak. Be still first. Anchor your words in silence. Then let them fly like arrows into destiny. Watch as the unseen bows, cycles end, doors open, and your life rearranges itself to mirror the silent word that became flesh. For silence is the beginning, the word is the bridge, and manifestation is the end. Master the silence, and you master the word. Master the word, and you master life itself. Living as if IT is already done, the embodiment of fulfillment, the greatest secret of manifestation, the eternal law that separates the dreamer who remains asleep from the dreamer who awakens, is the ability to live as if the desire is already fulfilled. To live in the end, to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, is not to pretend or to lie to oneself. It is to step into the higher dimension where what you long for already exists, and to let your body, mind, and spirit move in harmony with that reality. On September 20th, under the light of 999 activation portal, this law shines brighter than ever, for the vibration of completion meets the power of assumption, and together they collapse the distance between longing and possession. Living as if it is already done is the key that unlocks the treasures hidden in the invisible realm. What you persist in inwardly, you will eventually encounter outwardly. The world is nothing more than a mirror, faithfully reflecting the assumptions you have clothed yourself in. If you persist in the assumption of lack, lack becomes your reflection. If you persist in the assumption of abundance, abundance becomes your experience. The law cannot fail. It only waits for you to dare to live as though it is already yours. Too many remain trapped in waiting, hoping, and begging, which is the posture of separation. To wait for what you already possess in the unseen is to delay its arrival in Scene, the 999 portal whispers, end the cycle of waiting, begin the cycle of living. Begin to walk, speak, think, and move as the person who already has what they seek. When you rise each morning, do not rise as the one who hopes for change. Rise as the one who embodies change. Dress not as a beggar, but as one clothed in promise. Speak not as a victim, but as one crowned with victory. Move through your day as if the door is already open, for your very assumption is the hand that turns the key. Living as if it is already done requires courage, for the senses will mock you, the evidence will contradict you, and the world will whisper you are deluded. But this is the test of faith, to persist in your assumption even when every outer appearance denies it. When you hold fast to the inner vision, reality bends, circumstances rearrange, and what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Living as if it is already done means allowing the joy of fulfillment to enter your heart now, not later. It means laughing as though you already hold the victory, loving as though you already have the relationship, walking as though you already dwell in abundance. This joy is not fantasy. It is the vibration that magnetizes your desire into form. On September 20th, when the cycle of old endings closes and the gateway of new beginnings opens, your assumption carries multiplied weight. Declare it with your words, feel it in your body, live it in your actions, and it must come to pass. For the universe does not respond to what you want, it responds to who you are being. And when you are being the one who already has it, creation has no choice but to deliver it. Do not say, I will be, for that delays it to a future that never arrives. Say, I am, and embody the reality now. Do not imagine that you are on your way. Imagine that you have arrived. The difference is everything, for the portal answers only to completion, not to incompletion. This is why those who live as if it is already done experience acceleration, synchronicities, and divine alignments, for their very state of being demands manifestation. They no longer chase. It comes to them. They no longer wait. They attract, they no longer beg, they command. Living as if it is already done is not arrogance. It is alignment with the eternal truth that everything exists now. Time is only an illusion of separation, and assumption is the bridge that collapses that illusion. When you dare to step into the end, you bypass waiting and step directly into being. You walk in the house of your desire as though it were already built, and life rushes to fill the walls with substance. The question then is simple. Will you dare to live it now? Will you dare to walk as the healed, the prosperous, the loved, the chosen, the victorious? Or will you continue waiting, hoping, and delaying? The 999 activation portal does not reward hesitation. It rewards embodiment. Step into the role, and the play of life must adjust itself to accommodate you. Persist in the end, and the beginning will rewrite itself. Walk in fulfillment, and fulfillment will find you. On September 20th, the living as if it is already done, the embodiment of fulfillment, the greatest secret of manifestation, the eternal law that separates the dreamer who remains asleep from the dreamer who awakens, is the ability to live as if the desire is already fulfilled. To live in the end, to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, is not to pretend or to lie to oneself. It is to step into the higher dimension where what you long for already exists, and to let your body, mind, and spirit move in harmony with that reality. On September 20th, under the light of the 999 activation portal, this law shines brighter than ever, for the vibration of completion meets the power of assumption, and together they collapse the distance between longing and possession. Living as if it is already done is the key that unlocks the treasures hidden in the invisible realm. For what you persist in inwardly, you will eventually encounter outwardly. The world is nothing more than a mirror, faithfully reflecting the assumptions you have clothed yourself in. If you persist in the assumption of lack, lack becomes your reflection. If you persist in the assumption of abundance, abundance becomes your experience. The law cannot fail. It only waits for you to dare to live as though it is already yours. Too many remain trapped in waiting, hoping and begging, which is the posture of separation. To wait for what you already possess in the unseen is to delay its arrival in the seen. The 999 portal whispers, end the cycle of waiting, begin the cycle of living. Begin to walk, speak, think, and move as the person who already has what they seek. When you rise each morning, do not rise as the one who hopes for change. Rise as the one who embodies change. Dress not as a beggar, but as one clothed in promise. Speak not as a victim, but as one crowned with victory. Move through your day as if the door is already open, for your very Assumption is the hand that turns the key. Living as if it is already done requires courage, for the senses will mock you, the evidence will contradict you, and the world will whisper, "You are deluded." But this is the test of faith, to persist in your assumption even when every outer appearance denies it. When you hold fast to the inner vision, reality bends, circumstances rearrange, and what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Living as if it is already done means allowing the joy of fulfillment to enter your heart now, not later. It means laughing as though you already hold victory, loving as though you already have the relationship, walking as though you already dwell in abundance. This joy is not fantasy. It is the vibration that magnetizes your desire into form. On September 20th, when the cycle of old endings closes and the gateway of new beginnings opens, your assumption carries multiplied weight. Declare it with your words, feel it in your body, live it in your actions, and it must come to pass. For the universe does not respond to what you want, it responds to who you are being, and when you are being the one who already has it, creation has no choice but to deliver it. Do not say, "I will be," for that delays it to a future that never arrives. Say, "I am," and embody the reality now. Do not imagine that you are on your way. Imagine that you have arrived. The difference is everything, for the portal answers only to completion, not to incompletion. This is why those who live as if it is already done experience acceleration, synchronicities, and divine alignments, for their very state of being demands manifestation. They no longer chase, it comes to them. They no longer wait, they attract. They no longer beg, they command. Living as if it is already done is not arrogance. It is alignment with the eternal truth that everything exists now. Time is only an illusion of separation, and assumption is the bridge that collapses that illusion. When you dare to step into the end, you bypass waiting and step directly into being. You walk in the house of your desire as though it were already built, and life rushes to fill the walls with substance. The question then is simple. Will you dare to live it now? Will you dare to walk as the healed, the prosperous, the loved, the chosen, the victorious? Or will you continue waiting, hoping, and delaying? The 999 activation portal does not reward hesitation. It rewards embodiment. Step into the role, and the play of life must adjust itself to accommodate you. Persist in the end, and the beginning will rewrite itself. Walk in fulfillment, and fulfillment will find you on September 20th. Let every breath, every thought, every action declare, "It is already done." Every breath, every thought, every action declare, "It is already done."